So what are you aiming for in life? Are you just aiming for, all right, just good enough? Or are you really just pulling all the way back and you're aiming for awesome? That's what we're going to talk about this week on Relaxed Male.
Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies.
Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. All right, so this week, episode 90, we're talking about aiming for awesome. This is just so many of us this week, or through our lives, not even just this week, but through our lives, we see what we could do. We see, that possibility. We look down there and we think, we dream a big dream, and like, yeah, that might be possible. But instead of aiming for that big, audacious, beautiful dream, we go to, let's do something a little easier. Let's aim for that, that doing okay. Instead of going, taking a bow and just, knocking an arrow in there, drawing way back as far as it'll go and aiming, you think you're going to get for it, but you're not really sure. And so you just, kind of half pull it back and you're going to go let loose on something that is just a little bit closer, something a little bit safer. That is one of the big things that holds us back. And why do we not just go for gusto? Why do we not just, go for broke or any of that? Well, that's a lot of the reason why we don't is because we're afraid. We're afraid of many, many things. We're afraid of what that we will change. You have thoughts of, well, if I become wildly successful, or if I accomplish this, my friends are going to get mad at me. They're going to get jealous of me. They're going to, though that sounds odd, but we often have thoughts like that. We wonder, what happens if I become successful, become rich, is one that everybody likes to dream about. But when it comes to really, when the rubber hits the road, a lot of people don't want to put that in there because of the what if. I don't want to, if I become rich, people are going to look at me badly. No, people aren't going to look at you badly. Those people who don't want to put in the work, but get the same level of reward, they're going to look at you badly. They're going to look at you like, yeah, it must be easy. They're going to say things like that. But we are afraid of change. We're afraid that we're going to lose some friends. And we will. Honestly, we're going to lose friends. When we start trying to make ourselves better, you're going to start seeing friends that are actually being the anchor in your life. And you're going to have to let that anchor, cut them loose, cut that cord, let them go so that you can actually progress up to the next level. And it sounds cold, sounds horrible, sounds like a bad deal. He's been my best bud since kindergarten. That could be true, dude. But man, what happens if you were to become highly successful? Maybe you inspire him to go, oh, maybe I can reach that. Your actions influence a lot of people. Now, I understand. A lot of times it feels like nobody cares about what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're acting. And that's because a lot of times you're acting in the same accordance with what everybody else around you is doing. So no, they're not going to care. But if all of a sudden you start succeeding, you start, working your tail off and you start bringing in clients or bringing in more money than what you normally do, people are going to start noticing and going, hey, what are you doing, dude? Why are you able to make, $100,000 this last year? And you could go, well, dude, I didn't make $100,000 this last year. I made $100,000 the last 3 months. You can tell that, and you can say stuff like that with pride and with honor. If you are willing to go for broke, if you're willing to aim for awesome. Now, there are things that happen, and there's 4 things, according to what Tripp Lanier says in This Book Will Make You Dangerous. There are 4 things we actually want out of life. That's freedom, love, aliveness, or the ability to that feeling of alive, being truly alive, when you do something that's really heart pounding and get your adrenaline going, you're like, yeah, and what that and peace. The only way you can get those four things is by aiming for awesome. Yet we don't aim for those four achievements. And that's because if you go large, you're going to start having those fears again. You're going to start, and you may find yourself where you're working your tail off. You're going to work at like 5 a.m. and you're not coming home until 10 o'clock at night, and you're not seeing the kids and all this other stuff. And you feel like you have to, because, if you don't, well, then where's the money going to come from? Where's the vacations and all the stuff that you want to do? Where's all that going to come from? Well, that's where you're getting yourself stuck. You're playing small again. You're going, all right, well, I've got to do this, because if I don't, the rest of the stuff that I'm used to doing is not going to work out right. Well, actually, a lot of times, if you are able to take time and step back and breathe and do a 5x5, you'll see that you can still achieve the freedom, because you've lost your freedom because you're now working from sun up to sundown, not seeing your kids at all. You're barely seeing your wife. She's going to bed, and you're coming home to eat a cold supper, watch, 30 minutes of television before you crawl into bed. She's already asleep. So there's no sex happening in your life. And so there's nothing going on, and you're doing this for freedom, which you're not getting. You have to get up. You have to go work. You're living your life for love, but you're neglecting your wife. You're not doing things with your wife to feel alive. Well, you're getting up at the same time every day. You're going to bed at the same time every night, and you know what you're doing through the day. You're not feeling alive. You're just on a track in peace, but you're not feeling peace because you're not doing the things that you're really wanting to do. Now, am I saying just, quit your job, quit doing what you're doing and go live a hermit's life? No, but you can find that why you're holding on to certain beliefs. Are you believing that you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at 10 o'clock at night because that's what you do that's what worked before? Well, maybe it worked up to that point. And somewhere along the line, it's actually stopped working, but because you thought that's how it's supposed to keep going, that's what you did. You just kept holding on to something that honestly wasn't serving you. Because honestly, from 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night, that extra 5 hours, is that really making you any money? No, it really honestly isn't. It may give you the impression that you're doing something important, doing some major work. You're not doing anything drastically more different than what you've done between 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're wanting to have more out of your life, if you're wanting to be able to aim for awesome, you've got to understand what those anchors in your life actually are. It could be your friends. It could be some family members. It could be just you. Typically, it's normally us. We're the ones who are getting in our own way and keeping us from being able to achieve success. I mean, why are you working from 5 in the morning to 10 at night? Well, that's because that's what you think you ought to do. And you're getting in your way from being able to feel freedom, love, aliveness, and peace. So why aim for awesome? Well, if you look at life as a bullseye, you're doing archery. All right. You take out an arrow, you knock it, drop back and let it go. If you're not aiming for anything, then whatever you hit's going to be just okay because you weren't aiming for anything. So wow, you actually hit something. You're feeling okay. It's a little something, but is that something bankruptcy? Well, you hit bankruptcy, so congratulations, you're now bankrupt. Maybe you draw back and you hit 15 kids. Hey, all right, yay, you've got a full family. But, maybe what you really needed to hit was an adoring wife. You've got 15 kids and you got a wife who is just frazzled. Maybe you draw back. You're aiming for, if you're not aiming for something, yeah, you'll hit stuff all the time. Because you're not expecting to hit anything. Yet, if you aim for awesome, you're probably going to hit it a whole lot more time than if you aren't aiming for anything. If you're aiming for mediocre, then you're going to hit mediocre a heck of a lot more than you're going to hit awesome. While if you're hitting awesome, yeah, you're going to hit mediocre mediocre, if I could talk, from time to time. You're going to just kind of, just almost there, and might get above mediocre into pretty good, or might even get above pretty good to going, all right. Or you may just accidentally go off and hit what you're aiming for and nail that awesome. You can't do that unless you're actually aiming for awesome. Unless you're actually trying to make your life the best possible, you're not going to get the best possible. If you're aiming at having a great and wonderful life, but yet you're hanging around, your friends are the mediocre jokers, well, guess what? They're gonna be joking around. They're gonna aim for help and make sure that you hit the mediocre bar more than the awesome zone. You've got to be able to hit what you're aiming for. And if you are surrounding yourself with a bunch of guys who all aim for the awesome and they all hit awesome more times than not, then they're going to be able to help you get to the right position and get that elbow cocked just right so that you can actually, when you release that string, you're going to hit awesome. When you're take off in your life, you're going to hit that awesome part in your life. You're going to hit what you're wanting to go for. You have to have those dreams. You have to have the thoughts of what is it that you want. If you're used to thinking of yourself as just mediocre, well, guess what? You're going to have mediocre. You got to start letting your mind open up and dream. What if? What if I had $1 million? What if I had a successful business? And define success, because if you're just aiming, going, I'm going to have a successful business, and you don't know what successful is, you're going to beat yourself up because it's not successful. Because you don't know what success is. It might be a successful business where you're able to afford a 500-acre ranch, and you've got a little herd of cattle, and you've got hunting land, property out there, and all this other wonderful, great, and awesome, kick-ass stuff. That might be what your view of success is. May be able to be that you drive a nice car and that you have, other great and wonderful things. That's all dependent upon what you define. You have to define what is awesome. That's something that your wife can't define. That's something your kids can't define. That's not something that even your best friend can define. Your best friend and your band of brothers that are around you, they can help you craft that dream, but it takes you to actually get that dream going. So to do so, to start off, you've got to start just looking at what it is that you want as awesome. What is awesome about that you want in your life, whether it's cars, and start looking at it, start writing it down, start really fleshing out that idea, that dream, that hope, that possibility. Now, a lot of people are afraid that means that you don't get to rest at all. If they are starting to aim and going for awesome, they're not going to be able to rest. And that, again, that's that playing small. Oh, I've got to play small so I can be able to rest, so I can get to, live the life that I want to live. No, that's is your mind tricking you into trying to feel safe. Well, you're going to be tired all the time. You're going to be frazzled and all. There's all these little things. Your mind wants you to play small. Playing small means playing safe. Playing safe means you're not going to do anything really risky or really dangerous. And if you're not doing something risky or dangerous, then guess what? You're going to live for the next day. And yeah, you'll live the next day. You're going to be in your cave. You're going to sit there and let's grab some meat. All right, let's grab meat. Got meat. All right, let's eat. And you're not going to get out there. You're not going to work on your aim. You're not going to practice. You're not going to develop the skill and the motor functions that are needed for you to be able to hit the successful, awesome mark when you need to. So as you go through life, as you go through your day, and you start wishing that you had something, then start seeing, how can I do that? How can I become that level? What happens if? Ask yourself, that is one of the greatest questions. What if this happens? What if that actually comes true? And that even works for the negative thoughts that come into your head. Well, what would happen if I did fail? because that's something we often fear about. We fear, well, what if I fail? What if I don't get it? Maybe if I aim for awesome and I get terrible. Well, it happens. No, don't aim at that point of the target. Aim up, pull your aim up a little bit, adjust your aim so that you can get over to awesome. Sometimes, depending on how far back, you actually have to aim above the target to be able to hit it. These are things you've got to be able to know, and that's skills and experience that comes into play so that you're actually able to get the success and the grandeur that you want in your life. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this go. Just cut a fairly short episode for you this week. So guys, thank you again for listening. If you are wanting help to be able to start aiming for awesome, if you want to be able to start nailing and getting your dreams to start visualizing and materializing and becoming what you want, I can help you with that. You can go over to relaxedmail.com/coaching, and there is a form to fill out, and I give you a call. We'll sit down and we'll talk, and we'll see if we can help you to start visualizing what it would look like if you started hitting awesome more times than not. If you want to start working on your band of brothers, I also have the Brotherhood of Men. That's a men's group that we have, that if you're wanting to be able to have the support and the accountability to be able to go up and become the best man possible, the Brotherhood of Men is a great group to be able to help you do that. So guys, with that, thank you again for watching. If you have any questions, you can do so by going over to relaxedmail.com/contact. There you can be able to ask the question, or you can just shoot me an email at brian@relaxedmail.com. If you are on Apple Podcast, man, do me a big favor. If you're listening to us through Apple Podcasts, then when you go to subscribe and you hit that follow button, after the follow button, hit that down arrow. What happens is that allows the podcast to automatically download to your phone. And that way, if you're listening to us while you're going through a dead zone, and trust me, there's still plenty of dead zones in the U.S., you won't lose the show. You'll be able to continue listening, even though there's no direct internet signal available. So click follow. Click download. If you're on any other podcast platform, awesome, man. I appreciate it. If you're wanting to start following or subscribing, again, most of them are switching over to follow, but there's still several that are subscribed. So follow, subscribe, whatever it is, depending on whichever platform. If you want to see if we are available on your platform, guarantee you probably are, but you can go over to relaxedmail.com/subscribe, and there I've got a list of all the different platforms out there that you can actually listen to. So with that, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week. So till then, keep aiming for that awesome. You're going to hit it a heck of a lot more. All right? Bye.